Hello and welcome to Angel Talk 411. I am Peg Jones and this is my co-host, Lisa Mastrocola, and we want to welcome you to our new cable television show at Cable Access TV. To start off, we want to tell you that we're a work in progress and that this is our first show. Our plans for the show is that we will be having the show twice a month and we'll have different topics, but our main topic will be angels and the connection with the angels and how that can come about. Tonight, okay, I said that already. I am an angel intuitive and a certified life coach, and I share a message of the angels to others and also show others how to access the messages. I'm also an author of a book, Living in the Heart Place with Your Angels, Daily Angelical Whispers Throughout the Year. And it is a book of daily angel messages with a journal exercise for each day to help you with your connection with your angels. I'm also the co-owner of Off the Cuff Easing, which is a holistic and spiritual magazine of authors from this area and basically from all over the world. I'm also a blog columnist, and I also am a Reiki practitioner and Akashic Records practitioner. Before all this, I had the pleasure of working with children as a preschool teacher and special needs teacher, and also working with adults with disabilities in career, vocation, and community support. And Lisa, why don't you tell me about, or tell us all about you?
Okay, as Peg said, my name is Lisa Mastrocola, and I am an angel intuitive, an angel card reader, and an assertiveness coach, trained by Doreen Virtue, and you're going to hear that name a lot. She is the superhero of angels. We will talk and do many things about Doreen. You'll learn all about her. I communicate and receive messages from angels, and I share those with adults and children. I am also a Reiki master and an integrative energy therapy master instructor, and I teach classes, and I also see clients, and I for healing as well as angel card readings. I am also a former teacher, first grade teacher, and I also taught children's after school meditation classes for many years. And from that, I also am an author. I wrote a children's meditation book called Magical Journey Meditations. And I have all my guided meditations as well as hands-on crafts, because what I found that, first grade kids are hands-on. And so I thought that if they made little crafts that went along with the meditation, when they went home, it would kind of help them, enhance them, or I kind of want them to continue the practice of meditating. Yeah. And I also use the meditations in my classroom before writing assignments, before, lots of things before parties. And, kids today have adult schedules. And so there's a lot of kids have medical things and focusing issues.
And they're very scheduled.
Yeah.
Their activities.
And they act out because they don't even know that they're just exhausted or overstimulated.
Yeah. So, I think meditation is really important for everyone, but especially for kids to have that, that active time and that quiet time, and that's what I've always tried to do when I was a preschool teacher.
And in the book, they're introduced to their angels and their guardian angels and the whole thing. So, yes.
Well, that's a much needed book, and it's very good too.
Yes.
I really enjoy it.
Peg, I am so excited to be here tonight. I know we both are. We both love the angels. We know so much, and we're really excited to talk to our to the viewers about them. Now, let me ask you this. Let's start with this. What would be one thing, one important fact that you think that the audience should know about angels?
I think, well, basically the most important, and it's probably the most well-known fact, is that angels are messengers of God. You know, they're also, and they are also sharing of messages to God from us too. And I think that that's a basic thing that we all know, but I think it's something that we might forget too, because we maybe don't see the evidence of that.
And do you find that, have you had people that come to you and say, and act and think like you can communicate with an angel, but they can't?
Oh, all
you know,
the time.
they want you to say a prayer
Yeah.
on their behalf or ask for things on their behalf, and really and truly, the angels are here for everybody, but we're here to educate them.
And I think that that's what, you know, the main point or the main thing of what my work is helping people to know that it's not a special skill. It's a skill that you may not have developed yet, or it may not be developed in a way that you think you actually have it. And then, you know, through some learning, because it's kind of like a muscle that we have to grow, learning a new musical instrument. It's something that, you know, that study and discussion and actual understanding of it.
Yeah. I think one of the things I think that our viewers should know, first and foremost too, our angels are non-denominational. People will say, well, what about if I don't believe in angels? What about if I don't believe in God? It doesn't matter. God is there. There is a creator. We've all been created. And that creator sent angels to every human being. Whether you choose, now we have free will, so whether you choose to access that help, that's totally up to you. But they're there. They're there to help all of us. So that's a main thing.
Exactly. And how did you come to know about your angels?
Well, you know, when I was younger, I was raised Catholic, and so I knew about Archangel Gabriel, who came to Mary and to tell her she was having a child. And then Archangel Michael, he was there with his sword, you know, killing the bad angels. And then I knew that there were guardian angels that we were born with. Nobody ever told me I could talk to them. Nobody told me they were there to help us. They were just kind of there. They looked pretty on the altar and in cots.
Right.
And so it wasn't until, we were more into like the saints. You learned about the saints. And it wasn't until about 10 years ago that I went about my business, and I always felt like there was something I needed to do. And having a conversation with a friend, she said, you know, you're a light worker. And I'm like, what is that? We'll talk about that. You'll learn all about that. I'm sure if you're watching this show and find it remotely interesting, then you're probably a light worker and you're going to learn all about that. But I learned about the angels and how to access them. And it was through Doreen Virtue, Angels 101. That was the first book, and The Light Worker's Way. And my life has not been the same since. I can't even imagine accessing 1 second of my life without the angels. So what about you, Peg?
Well, very similar. I was brought up Catholic too, and my mother would read us stories about Michael, and we'd talk about Archangel Gabriel. She was always on our Christmas manger. And I think that I might have, you know, would like maybe speak to them, but I'm not definitely sure. That was kind of like pushed under the, you know, that was
Brushed aside.
Brushed aside. And by the time I was 8, life got busy, and I basically really, you know, didn't think about them much except maybe at Christmas. And I kind of lived that way, you know, all through teens and 20s and 30s. And in my late 30s, I went to a seminar about angels. And that was kind of when it started that I was getting like different statues and pictures and jewelry, chimes, angel chimes. And I thought, oh, isn't this nice? I have a nice little collection, not realizing that I could connect with the angels. And then through reading and study and learning about the angels and how we can work with them. I basically, began to understand that I could connect with them.
And even growing up, there weren't a lot of angel things around.
There was
Not
nothing.
like today. There
Yeah.
was books on the subject, music, all kinds of things. Angel statues, all beautiful. They're like flooding the earth because really we need it right now. And people like us, we're here. This is the time to share what we know with people. To bring encouragement and love and peace to the planet. That's what they're there. That's what they're here for.
And they're making themselves more known. It's almost like the veil is thinner because they know that we really need them and that we're at this point that we really are ready to connect with them.
Let me ask you this. How do you know that you're making a connection with the angels? So many people that I meet say, well, you can connect with angels. Of course, I can't no matter what. I pray to them, I talk to them, I hear nothing. How can they know that they're connecting with their angels? How do you know?
Well,
when you make a
I
connection?
think that there's different ways. I think there's synchronicity. There's also having that intention of working with a specific angel and asking for guidance, because the angels, they each have a different service that they can help us with. And just understanding like validations, like I might have a thought and someone else may say it a day or two later than someone else, or sometimes I can feel it within my body, like I feel like I need to stop or slow down when I'm driving. Those are all different ways that our angels are connecting with us, letting us know, and just basically having that intention, and keeping that focus of what.
Speaking of intentions, and you mentioned like there are certain angels that do certain things, and if someone says, well, I don't know anything about the angels, I don't know. The angels know. Sometimes we don't even know what to ask. Like we know we need help, but maybe we don't know what angel to ask, or we don't even know what it is that we need. The angels can read our hearts. So you can even say, whoever the angel is that can help me with this, like I'm feeling this sadness in my heart and I don't even know what it is, but help me with it. So intention is very important. You don't have to put it into words because sometimes we don't even have the words. We don't even know what we're feeling, but the angels do.
Can be a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't even have to know. It's just you're asking for help. And there's our free will. They cannot help you unless you ask.
Exactly.
So we're going to learn all about that. And a big thing is, I know with me, I need validation. Whenever I ask an angel for something, I say, show me, give me signs loud and clear, because I know me. I'm having a coffee break when that sign is coming in my direction,
Yep.
But the universe, I tell people that you will never miss the sign because there's no time up there. So they will keep after you. When they want you to do something or know something, they keep after you. Like you said, there's synchronicities. If they want you to, for instance, say, work out, just say, for instance, you'll hear on the radio, you'll hear a commercial, you'll be in line at Starbucks and hear people talking about this gym or this new program. You will get flooded and you'll finally say, okay, I get it. They're relentless, correct?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. What is your favorite part of the work that you do?
I have to say my favorite part of the work that I do, when most people come for reading or for healing, it's usually there's a lot going on in their life. There's a lot of transitional stuff. And let's face it, life does not stay the same. It keeps flowing. So a lot of times people might be at like a big transition or like this, they're like literally at a fork in the road and where do I go, what do I do? And we'll do the angel cards, and they are like really most of the time blown out of the water because, and there again, sometimes and we always start with, what do the angels want me to know? And it's like amazing. They will tell you. And a lot of times people that don't know about the angels, there's a lot of confirmation there. So they come to realize the angels are already working through them, and they'll say, I had a feeling that I was supposed to be doing that.
Yeah.
I'm already
It's like
doing that. I
validation.
just started
Yeah.
that. Exactly. So I like that whole, like, teaching them and realizing, like, yeah, whoa, they're here for me. They're
Yeah.
working with me,
Yeah.
number one. And number two, bringing comfort to them, you know, like they're not alone in the world. And sometimes they've had family and friends that have passed on, you know, getting messages about those family and friends. It brings a lot of comfort. How about you?
Well, I think kind of like you know, having people come to an understanding that the angels are with them, and I do a lot of that with my classes, where we study an angel a week or whatever, a month, and also, you know, just learning about the angel and showing them, you know, how to make intention, and also my writing, because I do a lot of writing about how we can work with our angels each day, and you know, different like advice or message that the angel will have for you in a, you know, in every, you know, a life situation, so I think that those are my two favorite parts, because I think it brings it down to, you know, I mean, it's something people can understand and, you know, really want to know more about.
Well, tell us about the book that you've written.
The book started off very slowly. I was actually working on another book, and I had met some friends that had asked me to start writing messages, and at first it was like one sentence, you know, or maybe two sentences, and so I just, you know, every day I did the message, and I kept doing it for about 6 months, and then I guess halfway in between that time, I felt the angels were asking me to also begin to have like journal questions for people, you know, regarding what the message was, and having them, you know, do some writing or, you know, or just thinking about it. And so basically the messages are about, well, it's about changing from going from your head, from thinking in your head to really thinking in your heart, and a lot of talk of joy and grace and peace, forgiveness, self-healing, and also I believe I spoke of healing energy, and, you know, all aspects of that, and it was a pleasure to write that, and I know that it has helped many people. For example, there was a message about looking up at the clouds, you know, and a friend of mine told me that she had just read that message, and she looked out her window and she said she saw a cloud shape of an angel. So, you know, it has provided a lot of validation for people in synchronicity, and I think the messages are simple and easy to understand.
And really timeless. And what I love about your messages, as well as even messages that are in the cards, is that they're relevant right at that moment. So they could read that same message in a week, in a year, in 5 years, and it's going to have a different meaning for them.
Right.
You know? And even if they just open the book to whatever, what do you want me to know today? And that is going to be what they need right at that moment.
Exactly. And, you know, it also helps you to begin to think about creativity in different ways too, and, you know, a lot with color and creativity. And, you know, an example is, you know, what color is your heart today, you know, and, you know, color your heart for the next 3 or 4 days. So, and tell me about your book of meditations.
Okay, so my book is Magical Journey Meditations. It's for the kids. Back 10 years ago, when I started doing the meditations, you know, kids have always had, you know, well, over the last several years, they have these adult schedules,
yeah.
exactly. So there's a lot of like acting out, and I've met a lot of the kids in the class would have sleeping issues, and nightmares and sleeping issues, and just they can't calm down and relax.
Yeah.
And so we just did, as an after-school class, we did meditations, and the kids loved it. And here's the thing, too. We had kids from grades K to 3 in there, and they were kids mostly, like they were the real rambunctious kids that needed to just center, and then you had the kids that were a little on the sensitive side, and so they all worked together. They're, so like the older kids that were more sensitive, maybe not as aggressive with their peers, not aggressive at all.
Right.
They were the 5-year-olds.
They were the helpers.
They were the helpers. It was so empowering,
Yeah.
and just the whole connection was really beautiful. But as I said earlier, we didn't have a lot of documentation. Is it working? I had to rely on what I was observing with the kids and the feedback that I got from the kids and the parents. And even the kids would say they would use the techniques at home because, they're not like parents. I would teach adult classes, and we did one series we did getting in contact with your inner child.
Oh.
And so I remember the first night we took a meditation, and we went off and we met with this panda bear, and he put his arm around us, and we told him our problems, whatever. And then when we came out of meditation, it was like, okay, let's share. And I had the women, excuse me, but I wouldn't go off with the bear. You know what I mean? And then we just
Making
burst.
excuses.
We laughed
Yeah.
so hard, and
Yeah.
kids don't have that ego.
No.
They go right to it,
Oh, yeah.
And they really, whatever tools you teach them, they just incorporate them, no questions asked. And so they really did use them. I had a child who one of her parents was a sibling of 10, and they were going to this family reunion, and there was going to be 50 people in this. She was in kindergarten. She was 5 at the time, and she was sitting in the back seat, and her mother said, what are you doing? And she said, I'm doing my meditation because when we get to that party, there's going to be a lot of people, and I have to be calm. And the mother said she did it totally on her own. And I got a lot of that feedback. So I know.
It's really something that needs to be taught in the schools, the grounding and protection.
Absolutely.
Because, I know when I was first teaching, you bring everything home, and I think if I had known about grounding and protecting, it probably would have been less, of stress.
There are so many kids today
tiredness
that are just so sensitive. Whether it be to chemicals in their food, what they're breathing, just their lifestyles. And yes, they need some tools. They need to learn, and even just being sensitive, and they go to the mall, or they're going, even being in school, in the building around so many, they pick up so much, and they don't even know, and even parents don't know. So it's a good thing to learn. They're going to learn tools and techniques for themselves, for their children, and we're going to have lots of specialists on, and people that are doing remarkable things, a lot of alternative things. It's going to be really good.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
And how has your life experience molded you into the work that you have done?
Well, I have to say, being the oldest child of my siblings, kind of being the caretaker, and even just growing up, I think it was probably my personality. Like I was just had to make sure everybody was happy, everybody was taken care of, that sort of thing. And so that's one thing, always worrying about other people. So whenever, and also being a teacher. So it's just in me that when I learn something, the first thing I think of is, okay, how do I get that so I can bring it to another person? And I do the same thing with children. Okay, how can I bring that to a child's level? Because we're learning these things now, all these things now.
Yeah.
And so we have to kind of reteach ourselves. Like we have to back. And I'm thinking, if kids learn how to meditate now, I know adults struggle with that.
And they're beginning to that, too.
Exactly. But if someone can learn how to shield and protect and meditate as a young child and put balance in their lives, they don't have to reteach themselves. That's just going to be a way of life for them. So what about you, Peg?
Well, I think I too, I was the oldest of a large family, and kind of the second mother, and as a teen, I had like 6 families I would babysit for.
Wow.
It was my summer job, and all, spending money year round. And so it was natural that I went to school, to become a teacher. And, just in working with parents and the kids and the teachers and, having different jobs, working with, different level of abilities, because I was a special needs teacher, so I was working with all kinds of abilities, and just just kind of that social, and hearing about people's issues, and then kind of when I started readings, it took quite a while, but I was beginning, it was almost like I was just like like an automatic sharing, ways, and the cards always seemed to be validating. So it was, it was almost like natural, it was just a very natural progression. And I think, through my learning, of different healing techniques and my life coach training and stuff, it just kind of, all seemed to fall together. So, yeah. It's
Very
just
exciting. We
it
have
is.
a lot to offer and a lot to share. So, Peg, how can our viewers contact you?
They can contact me at an email, peg@pegsangelicalwhispers.com, or they can contact me on my website too. I have a Contact Me tab, like on the upper right page, and also you can call me at 978-854-3577. And how can people contact you?
Well, they can contact me at lisa@mysticalrosehealing.com. They can check out my website, mysticalrosehealing.com, to see what's going on. And they can also call me at 978-835-3351.
Okay.
And we'd like to thank you for coming to our maiden voyage, our first show, one of many. It's going to be, they're going to be very exciting. So we look forward to bringing many, many good topics that have to deal with the body, mind, and spirit for adults and children. Please feel free to contact either Peg or myself if you have any questions, like topics that you'd like us to cover on future shows, or if you have any questions that you'd like for us to talk about on our show. And we're hoping that, as Peg said, we're a work in progress, so hopefully very soon we'll be able to take call-ins. You can share your angel stories with us, which we know people love to do that. And also at some point we're going to be doing angel card readings and have many, many guests. So until next time, thank you and angelic blessings.
Thank you. Have a nice night.